Southern Utah.
We are off and rolling. Episode 5 of the Storm the Sky podcast is presented by Pioneer Floor Coverings and Design Center. They are the premier flooring provider here in Southern Utah. Stop into their Cedar City store located on Sage Drive to find amazing prices, unique design options, and incredible service for all your flooring needs. That's Pioneer Floor Coverings and Design, your presenting sponsor of today's Storm the Sky podcast. It's episode 5. We've got Jake Vincent on the podcast, reigning Big Sky Conference champion, reigning Big Sky Conference player of the year. We broke down his career, talked over a couple different things, and he's coming back for a 5th year, so we're excited to have him back here on campus in Cedar City. Right now, Jake Vincent interview, Storm the Sky podcast. Let's roll. Back rolling on the Storm the Sky podcast here on SUTbirds.com. I'm your host, Bryson Lester. Thanks for being with us today, and thanks to our guests for today, Thunderbird golfer Jake Vincent. Jake, thanks for taking a few minutes here to catch up with us. We're excited to have you on here, man. Let's start here. Just how's the summer been for you? Luckily, you know, a lot of things have gone down in athletics, but golf courses have stayed open. So luckily you've been able to play quite a bit of golf this summer.
Yeah, you know, I've been really working on my game, trying to get prepared for whatever's next. If there is a season coming up, it's going to see hopefully the best version of me and my teammates.
So you'll be coming back for that 5th year. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. I kind of want to go back to the beginning, for you, kind of, at what age, Jake, did you kind of realize that you were good at golf and it was something that you wanted to pursue?
Actually, growing up, I grew up on a golf course. So from till about 12 years old, that's all I did. And growing up, golf wasn't as cool as football was. I loved playing football. And so from about middle school to early high school, I didn't play a whole lot of golf. And I got lucky to really start playing a lot my senior year of high school in competition and stuff. And luckily found Coach Church.
So you played high school football alongside playing golf, right? That was kind of your first deal.
I wasn't very good football player, but I was at that time. I was a better football player than I was golfer, and I got lucky. I like to practice and do something, and then golf was the open door for me, and I kind of took it and ran.
You mentioned that you found Coach Church. Kind of talk to me about the recruiting process and your early conversations with Coach Church. What were those like?
Oh, okay. So I grew up with a guy at the first country club I grew up at, and he knew Coach Church. I don't know how, and I started to play a lot of golf, and he said, "Hey, how about you send me your scores and all this stuff? I'll pass it along. I got a buddy that's a Division I coach." And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm not good enough to go play Division I. I think I had a Division II offer at the time. But I sent it along, and then next thing you know, I had a visit scheduled for like 2 weeks later, and I met Coach Church, and it all happened from there. I just committed as soon as I came to Cedar.
What do you remember some of your first thoughts of Southern Utah University? What do you remember thinking when you first?
It's actually a great story because I meet Coach right next to Chick-fil-A. We're hanging out. There used to be some couches out there, and He's telling me, you know, what maybe scholarships I could do, how I could help the team, all this stuff. And he's like, you know, if you want to go up there and see what kind of classes you could get right now, we'll bring you over there. So my dad's like, perfect. So we go up there and we meet the lady, and she goes, if you'd like to commit at this moment, I could sign you up for all your classes. And I got probably like 2 or 3 weeks left of high school at the time. And so I'm still thinking, you know, there's maybe somewhere else I could go, or who knows what's down the road for me. I just remember sitting there and my dad goes, "Yep, sign him up." Yeah, so I wasn't even the one to commit to Southern Utah, but I'm glad my dad did for me.
Taking a quick break here to tell you about Pallet Bakery. Pallet Bakery is a proud sponsor of the Storm the Sky podcast. Pallet Bakery and Ice Cream Parlor offers special promotions to SU students and staff. Just show your school ID for buy one, get one half off. Pallet Bakery is located at 255 North Main Street across from Main Street Park. Once again, Pallet Bakery, a proud supporter of the Storm the Sky podcast. What do you remember the transition from, playing high school golf to college golf? Kind of what were some of the early moments like? What were some of those
Um,
early practices?
Extremely humbling, because to become a college athlete, you got to be pretty good in high school, especially at whatever you do. And I started to find my own a little bit toward the senior year of high school, and you're beating up on freshmen and sophomores. You're beating up on 15-year-old kids. So for a minute, you start to think that you're really good. And then you start playing against 20-year-old kids that have been doing this their whole life. And I was humbled very quickly.
You said you were humbled very quickly, but you were third team all conference your freshman year. So we will give you a little bit of credit
Oh,
there.
okay. That's not bad.
When you came in, you played for 2 seasons with Fidel Concepcion. And,
Yeah.
kind of as a senior leader for you, kind of the guy on the team, the number 1 player for those first 2 years. What do you remember learning from him?
Everything. I would try to practice with him every day. I would go play 9 holes. I mean, I would sit behind him on the range just so I could watch him and then kind of do what he did. So I remember one of the first days I was here, he never left the putting green. I mean, I went out, played 9 holes, chipped, hit balls, went back to the putting green, probably went and chipped again, and he just putted all 6 hours or something like that. That's why I realized, no wonder he shows up and has a chance every week, because even when he's hitting it poorly, he still has a chance to hole every putt he sees, get up and down, make bars.
Do you have any vivid memories from tournaments your first year, kind of like some welcome to college golf moments that stand out?
Yeah, one of them involves Fidel. Like I said, he worked hard, and I kind of did the opposite. I showed up the basic hours of practice, 2 to 6. I would show up about 2:05, try to leave as soon as coach left, and be a dumb kid. And Fidel would just work his tail off. And I remember the third event of my freshman year, second or third event, I'm struggling to not get dead last. And I'm like 3 holes away from Fidel, who makes a hole-in-one to tie the lead of this tournament. He's probably beating me by 15 strokes at the time. So I'm like, okay, the difference between me and him isn't that he's an amazing golfer. It's just he worked 5 times harder than me.
At what point do you feel like you kind of got comfortable playing college golf? Because your sophomore year, you were first team all conference. And that was like quite a big jump from your freshman year.
I don't know. I've always had I wish I could call it silent confidence, but sometimes I let it get out, and you're not really proud of those moments. But my freshman year, I think I had one event where I finally shot under par, and then I kind of started trending. I remember one time I was in 4th place going into a final round, ended up getting 54th. I mean, just choked my brains out, and so at that point, I knew I could compete, but it would take a lot of work. I played really poor at the conference tournament. I remember going home for summer and coach telling me, you got to learn how to chip. And I came back and got a couple top 25s to start out the first sophomore semester. And then after that, I played in this Bandon Dunes event, and it could have been one of the best events I've played in college so far. And I think I got 6th. But long story short, I played with a kid that just got he might have been one of the couple low-ams at the U.S. Open last week, and I played with a kid that's on the Corn Ferry Tour or whatever. So I'm hanging with the big dogs for a second. I remember one of them looks at their phone and says, "Southern Utah?" He's like, "Are you the kid that's beating me?" As he's watching me hit all these crappy shots all around, and he goes ahead and hit it way better. But at that day and time, I scored it better than them. So that's when I knew, it just takes some heart and some hard effort.
Taking a quick break here to tell you about Jimmy John's, one of our sponsors here on the Storm the Sky podcast. Jimmy John's is a proud supporter of SU Athletics. Get Freaky Fast sandwiches today by ordering online or with the app for Freaky Fast delivery, or visit them at 1001 West 200 North. That's Jimmy John's right here in Cedar City, a proud supporter of the Storm the Sky podcast. And now back to the show. You won your first tournament your junior year. It was the home tournament down in St. George.
Yep.
What was that feeling like? Was it kind of like a weight off your shoulders? Because to put this in perspective, it's really hard to win a college golf tournament. Like, really, golfers can go their whole career without picking up a win.
Sure. And that, I got kind of bailed out. I made a 20-footer there, or maybe a little bit longer, but coach doesn't give me any credit for much more than 20 feet. But I just hung in and battled the whole day. What I remember that was wanting to win so bad, playing Sunbrook every day for about 2 months, just working on it, knowing the course. I was going to be completely prepared. I had a lead with 4 or 5 to go, and then I started thinking about how not to lose versus just going ahead and trying to get the win. And I got lucky. I got bailed out by a good putt and learned a lot from that day.
That was a stressful day for me. Not to make the podcast all about me. I am the host, though, so I get to.
Yeah,
I'm just in the clubhouse inputting scores, and I'm getting texts about like what you're doing and while I'm inputting scores. It's super stressful. No,
that was fun because the last 4 holes were not easy for me. The 2 kids I was playing with made runs on me, and I found myself 1 down on the 18th tee. But at those times, you could either tell yourself, this is what I practice for, this is what I'm prepared for, or, you're still searching for something. And luckily, hard work paid off at that moment.
Your junior year, obviously you pick up that win, and as it continues, you get the Big Sky Conference Championship. Kind of walk me through that tournament, because that was a wild 3 days down there in Vegas.
Yeah, so I don't remember what I shot the first 2 days, and I know that I think I finished at about 9 under for the event. And so the game plan was just to go out there and try to help the team win a conference championship. Coach talks about college golf is 54 total holes. The first 45 holes, are supposed to be for the team. And I was tied first after the second round. And so I kind of knew, whatever I do tomorrow is all on me. Nobody can help me out. And I think I doubled the 6th and the 9th hole to go from 2 up to like 4 back. I was not in good waters. And then I went on a run that's given me confidence ever since that day. I think I shot, it was 4 or 5 under on the back 9 or whatever, made a good little 10-footer on the last. And the rest has helped my confidence from that day forward.
Something that's always impressed me, is every tournament, it feels like, your family comes out, your mom and your dad and your grandparents, both sets of grandparents. How much does that mean to you, when you're out on the course, just to see the love from your family?
It's huge because, I even just played one a couple weeks ago, and I'm from Southern California, and we were playing up in Park City, and I was playing good enough. My parents drove all 11 hours, left at like 5 or 6 p.m. Got there at 3 a.m. and then the next thing I know, my dad's caddying for me at 8 a.m. The support I have is, some days when you really screw it up, you don't want to hear, oh, it's okay. We're still proud of you, but I've always been extremely fortunate to have that. And at the same time, I listen to those people enough, when I call my dad and I'm kind of, being soft toward whatever I encounter, he switches me out of it. He says, you got to go attack this. You got to figure it out. It's not always the support that I would love because I see it so often, but it means the world that they get to come, especially my grandparents. I'm lucky to just have them in my life, and the opportunity that they can come walk 36 holes with me is so fun, whether we're traveling all the way out to Arizona or we're in Southern California, their neck of the woods. No matter what, they usually try their best to come watch.
Taking a quick break here to talk about Best Western. Thunderbird fans, if you're traveling in from out of town, be sure to book your next stay at Best Western Plus or Best Western Town and Country Inn. Both are conveniently located only a few blocks from campus and offer a 20% SUU discount. That's Best Western Plus and Best Western Town and Country right here in Cedar City. And now back to the show. After you won the Big Sky, obviously that means an NCAA regionals appearance, so you get to
Uh,
go playing in the Stanford regional. Kind of tell me a little bit about that experience. You know, you were only the fourth golfer in the history of the program to be able to do that.
yeah, that was weird for me. I grew up a lot that week because I had a lot of confidence after, throwing out a 31. I think it was 500 to win that conference championship. And I just read it the other day. You guys did a flashback
Yeah.
on me winning the conference championship. So I don't like reading stuff I say because I'm not very good with words. And one of my quotes was, "If the putter gets hot, I have a chance." And yeah, it turns out I had a chance. I just blew that one too. But I learned a lot because everybody in that field is special. I mean, everybody's got people walking up to them like, "Hey, how could I help you? I'm with so and so company. You need any, like they all got sponsors and stuff like that." And I'm just on the end of the range, just kind of with my earphones in, locked in. And I end up shooting a pretty good 64 first round, have a 3-shot lead. And that moment, I started believing I was better than I actually was, and it caught up to me.
Talk to me about, how obviously golf is just such a mental game more than
Yeah.
anything. And, kind of as you go through a tournament, what are you thinking about? Kind of, I know
Uh,
that's a weird question, but from a standpoint of outside looking in on a successful,
sure.
what do you think about during a round? What are you focused on?
Um, you know, you have everybody's got a routine. So, let's just take down a hole, for example. You get the direction you want to hit your drive, what you want to hit off the tee box. Then you get a yardage into the green. You get the yardage and the wind and all that stuff. And you're really focused in those few minutes. But because golf is such a long, you know, you're walking around, what's that, like 8 miles for 4 or 5 hours. It's not, you can't think about golf the whole time. I'll be staring at trees, looking at the birds, just kind of spacing out, trying to talk to whoever I can. Always, one thing that is huge with golf is the moment you stop having fun, you're usually going to get worse. And in other sports that I grew up playing, they were more reaction. I just had a great time. They gave me the ball, or I was throwing the ball. I was there just competing. Golf, you got to battle so many demons in your head. Like, oh man, I might skank this one out to the right or something. And you just got to convince yourself that you practice too much to screw it up now.
Let's go to your quote unquote senior year.
I'm
I don't
super
know.
senior now. I like to call that senior year.
I don't know what we'll refer to it as moving forward, but it culminated with you winning Big Sky Player of the Year. But obviously, there was not a conference championship. You guys missed out on a few
Yeah.
tournaments at the end of the year. What do you remember about kind of when I'm assuming you guys got a text or a call from Coach Church that things were
Yeah,
going
we
down.
were on the road a couple days before stuff started to kind of cancel all around us. We might have even been, yeah, we were in a tournament in Vegas when like college basketball started to stop. And, that was kind of the first thing to go. And then you're like, no way they're going to play golf. They're not playing college basketball. And then the following weekend, it just it went down. And at that point, I was sad. I'm like, well, there goes my college career. Any chance I had at making any records, or making some harder to catch, or out the doors. But once they said that I had another opportunity at it, which I hope I do. You got to hope and pray that there's going to be a spring. But if there is, I couldn't be more excited, because from the day forward that it got announced that I got another chance to play college golf, been working hard.
Was it frustrating? Because I mean, from a statistical standpoint, you were having one of the best seasons a golfer here has ever had. So
I think
was
it
it?
was, yeah, it was frustrating too, because I knew where I stood for Player of the Year rankings too, and that is one thing that mattered a lot to me. And I was pretty sure, because they didn't announce that I was Conference Player of the Year for like 2 or 3 months after that, maybe. Yeah, so I just thought it got scrapped. I'm like, oh, bummer. The year I was supposed to win it, they just decided that no, we're not going to have one. And when Coach called me and said I won, that was pretty fun.
Taking a quick break here to tell you about Bulloch Drug. Thank you to Bulloch Drug for being a proud sponsor of Southern Utah University Athletics and the Storm the Sky podcast. Bulloch Drug is located in downtown Cedar City, and Township Pharmacy is located near the hospital just off North Main in Cedar City. All your prescription needs and much more can be cared for at both locations. Bulloch Drug and Township Pharmacy, proud supporters of the Storm the Sky podcast. And now back to the show. Was there ever any thought about not coming back, or was it just always, once you knew the opportunity was going to be there to play another season, was it no question?
Yeah, no question. And I say that less about me. As soon as I stepped on campus here, I made one goal, and that's I'm going to bring Southern Utah golf first conference title. And I guess I did that unintentionally. I won it as an individual, but that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
I want the whole unit to go to regionals together and bring us back the big trophy.
So you and Ali both coming back. Ali
Yep.
obviously in the same situation as you. Talk to me a little bit about your relationship with him. I mean, he's been here all 4 years. You guys have always been in the lineup.
It's cool because we've pushed each other so much throughout the years, because we both got to watch Fidel be the man for a little bit, and we just both learned. And nowadays, we go to events, stay in the hotel together, compare our notes, just to see how much we've grown up from being freshmen. It's crazy. We actually got to talk about that a couple weeks ago, because we were playing the State Am together, staying in the same hotel. And we're like, what if this really is the last event that we go to together, and we're thinking about the first one, hanging out the hotel window or whatever. Like, you could not be further away from where I am nowadays, because at first you go to golf trips and they put you up in a hotel or whatever, and you're like, oh, I just got to go play some golf and I'm on vacation. And nowadays, you travel to a tournament, you got one goal in mind, and it's not second place.
Talk to me a little bit about your relationship with Coach Church and kind of some of the things you've learned from him over the years.
I've learned way too much I might have to write a novel about it, that all the life lessons he's taught me. But he really turned me from ungrateful 18-year-old kid to hopefully a more humble 22-year-old. But he took me in, and he knew I had potential, but I just kind of wasted it. I didn't really work very hard. And I remember going into my sophomore year, I made it a point to always be at the golf course. So when he showed up, he would always see me there. And since then, he's kind of, I guess I wouldn't say, maybe take me under his wing a little bit, or, just be a fantastic coach, whether that's following me around the golf course for 9 holes, if I need a help or need a caddy, or, helping me out with school, anything like that, chat. He's been like a father.
Oh, that's awesome. One of the things that's always impressed me about Coach is from the standpoint that as much as he teaches you guys up on the golf course, he kind of teaches you guys up in real life.
Even more than he's taught me on the golf course. One of his best traits is he might be the most honest guy I've ever met. And, he's not afraid to tell you that you're screwing up. And, you definitely need that out of a coach as a 20-year-old kid, because if you just hear how good you are, you kind of lose the edge, the chip. And he's there to remind me every once in a while that I'm still that third team all-conference freshman.
Obviously, we want you to be playing golf for a long time, but from a school standpoint, what have you been majoring in while you've been here, and what are you hoping to do with it?
I'm a hospitality major, and I'm about to pick up a minor in communication.
Nice.
With this extra semester. So I don't have a whole lot of plans yet. After school, I want to give it a couple years, try to go pro, and play some golf. And if that doesn't shake out, who knows? I know as a hospitality, I can go into any field. Since I've already played so much golf, I could go work at a golf club pretty easy, and not just in the pro shop. There's probably, they say this degree and playing that much golf, you could be a country club general manager or something like that, but who knows? I'm a little too far down the road for me. My plan's just to get done with this call and go work on my putting, and then wake up tomorrow and do the same. I mean, I am even as far as tournaments goes and stuff like that, I'm not very good with the goals and looking forward. I just try to look to tomorrow and compete.
No, I love that mindset. What have been some of your favorite classes, though? What are some of your biggest takeaways from your college tenure so far?
I've learned a lot of good stuff as far as hospitality and interacting with people and that kind of stuff. You know, the number crunching is tough for me. We've been in a couple classes where you got to do a lot of stuff that's out of my realm, and I'm lucky I've had some great teachers that have helped me across the way, because I could not have done it by myself.
One of my favorite things about college golf is I feel like you guys really get the opportunity to build relationships with the people you play against, because you play against them
Sure.
so frequently. You know, you're talking the whole round. Who are some of your favorite people to play with right now?
Oh man, that's tough. I grew up. One of my high school buddies played on another Division I team over at Pacific, and so whenever we'd see them at events, man, it just felt like I was going to see my best friend again. I would go back there. Honestly, I'm not the most social guy when I'm out on the golf course. I'm usually pretty focused. When I said space out and walk around the trees, or I just kind of doing my own thing. I'm out there to compete. I've had some good buddies. From the Utah schools, you make good friends. Or I grew up with some kids from Southern California, and but when I'm out on the golf course, I'm there to beat everybody I'm playing.
I know you said you're not very good at, building out a plan or anything, but I'm going to make you do it a little bit. Let's
Okay.
assume everything goes clear. You guys are able to play a spring season. Kind of what are you hoping you can get accomplished in the spring during your last stretch as a T-Bird golfer here?
Like I said a little bit ago, I got one goal, and that's for the team to win a conference championship. I mean, if I go take dead last in every event we play, and that's what it takes for us to win a conference championship, sign me up, man. As much as individual success has mattered to me in the past, and not saying it still does, I still work my tail off as hard as I can every day. I mean, I would love to bring something back home to Southern Utah, just past, my individual accomplishments.
Awesome, man. Well, Jake, thanks for taking the time to hang out with us and catch up with us a little bit. And I'm sure we'll have you back on soon. I'm sure
Hey, I
you'll be
appreciate
a
it.
frequent guest.
I'd love to. Thanks.
All right, my man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, see you. Bye.
Thanks again to Jake Vincent for taking the time to join us here on the Storm the Sky podcast for episode 5. Presenting sponsor for episode 5 is Pioneer Floor Coverings and Design. Pioneer Floor Coverings and Design Center is the premier flooring provider here in Southern Utah. Stop in to their Cedar City store located on Sage Drive to find amazing prices, unique design options, and incredible service for all your flooring needs. Pioneer Floor Coverings and Design, the presenting sponsor of today's podcast. Thanks for being with us. We will be back next week for episode 6 of the Storm the Sky podcast. Until then, take it easy.